Good afternoon, everyone. How's everybody doing? My name's Killam Miller. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Universal, and I just wanted to welcome you to our showroom. If you've visited with us before here in our Learning Center, you might notice it looks a little different. I also wanted to point out that all the beautiful lighting in here is sponsored by Regina Andrew. They are located on the first floor of the IHFC. If you've not visited their showroom, I highly recommend you go check it out. They have a beautiful space there. Now I'm going to give you just a few little new tidbits of things we're happening here in our showroom. So we have two new collections this market. We have Montclair located on floor 2, and then Oasis, which is an addition to our Coastal Living branded partnership, on floor 3. We also have a new designed lounge that's located in the lobby right outside here, so definitely take a stroll through there. It's another beautiful space that we've redone this market. We also have our market party this afternoon that you guys are all invited to. It starts at 5 o'clock. There'll be cocktails, a live band, food for everyone, so definitely come back and check that out. I'm going to turn it over to Maria, and she is going to talk to you about the 60-30-10 rule.
Yay! Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so excited to walk you through. Well, actually, we're ditching this rule. Who uses the 60-30-10 rule when you are thinking about decorating with color? Okay, a couple, two people in the room. This is why we need a new way. This is why we need a new way. So, okay. So first of all, a little bit about me. Okay, wait, I just need to move it that way. Okay, so I am a lamp tramp. I believe that every room has to have a minimum of 4 lamps. Yep, and not the ones that are metal, and not the ones that have the shiny, pointy Edison bulbs that hit you in the eyeballs. I believe there is not enough lamps in this world, and I think if more people had enough lamps, they would not have to go on vacation all the time to leave their house, because the atmosphere would be so amazing. Okay, so, and my passion in life is to end the constant cycle of renovating. I think that sustainable design is about timeless design, and that looks like, you know, you don't have to renovate your house every 10 years, and when you put in timeless finishes, then you don't have to do that. So, okay, so how am I sort of, let me just, oh, sorry, I have to get used to what I have to do here. Okay, so I am not formally trained as a decorator, as a designer. I never went to design school. I've done one color theory course. And so, but I was in corporate all through my 20s. Then when I turned 30, I decided I had to be creative or die. And I'm sure a lot of you, who's like that? Who had that happen, right? We're like, no, I need to be creative. Like, I can't do this anymore, right? So I put an ad in the Yellow Pages. Now, I'm old, so this was before staging was invented, right? So I put an ad in the Yellow Pages, and my ad said, you know, we use what you have to create incredible, affordable interiors. And at the bottom, I wrote expert color consultation. And you know, I just done one color theory course, but suddenly I'm an expert. So anyway, the ad worked, and one day this woman called me and she said, so, you know, I'm looking at all these beiges, you know, and I see that like some have pink undertones and some have green undertones. Can you help me with that? And I said, absolutely. And I had no idea what she was talking about. So I thought, I better figure this out. So I flew down to San Francisco. I found the day studio way back in the day, and I painted for 5 days, mixed color for 5 days, and then I decided, I fell madly in love with color. I came home and decided I was going to be an internationally known color consultant. And I wrote it on a little sticky note. I stuck it up on my mirror. And like, who knew I'd get there through writing a blog called Color Me Happy that I started in 2008. So for 17 years, I have been writing about timeless design and teaching and educating designers and homeowners how to choose color the right way. And so during that process, I invented my neutral color wheel, which I sell on my website. And I also have 10 of those neutral color wheels. So Christy, my marketing director, is right there. So if you give her your card, maybe we'll do a little draw at the end. Yeah, so, okay. So the other thing I did was oh wait, still doing this wrong. All right, so I started painting up, you know, so as a color consultant, what happened was, then fast forward, I get a job working out of Benjamin Moore. So, you know, I'm from Canada, so in Canada, what they did years ago was they would hire decorators to just, you know, Our job was basically that people would walk in looking for color advice, and our job was just to like book a color consultation with people. Like, because once people have actually, once you've specified any paint brand, they're a lot more likely to buy that paint brand, right? So anyways, so then I started painting up these large samples, and then I also noticed that the best neutrals always came down to like a curated few. But before I learned that, there was another woman that had been doing color for a long time, right? And so this was in the 90s, the late 90s, early 2000s when I was working there. So, so she was always specifying, smoky taupe and, ranch wood over and over and over. And I was like, clearly she is a one-trick pony. Like, that's all she can do. But in actual fact, the good range of taupes is right in that range, the end. All day and all night, so I have an e-design department. I have 5 color designers that work all around the country. We do $50,000 a month in e-design. We don't actually talk to our clients. They find me when they're starting a new build or a renovation or a kitchen or bath. They start reading my blog, watching my social media, and they start being very afraid that all their colors are going to be wrong and their finishes aren't going to be timeless, and so then they buy a new build package, and then we put together the new build package from A to Z. We pick all the colors online. Everything is done online, and it's kind of a miraculous, very cool system that I have invented and that I do. So I started painting up these boards, and I realized I only needed like 50 of them. Like, I didn't need thousands of neutral color, thousands of big samples. I just needed 50 useful ones. So I now sell them in Benjamin Moore and Sherwin-Williams on my site, and then that's where you go. Like, if you need a neutral for your client, guys, you need to move on from White Dove. I'm just telling you right now. Okay, let me just see where I am here. Okay. All right, here's the workbook for today that my marketing director has put together so beautifully. So you could just take your phone and hover like with your camera, and you can grab that, or you can go to that URL, because you're going to learn some really cool things today. Okay. And today I'm also going to give you my White is Complicated ebook. So it's a decorator's guide for choosing the right white, using my system of understanding undertones and gradations of whites. Okay, so let's have a little conversation about, first of all, I want to know, okay, in the world of design, okay, I want to know what causes you to lose the most sleep at night, okay? Is it choosing finishes? Is it choosing fabrics and furnishings? Is it choosing paint? Which one is it? Furnishing? Okay, let's do a poll. Who says hard finishes? Okay, everyone's good at that. Okay, good. Okay, fabrics and furnishings? Okay, a few of you. Paint. Okay, you see? Because there's so much of it. Right? And we've been doing black and white now for 8 years. Okay, but that trend is over, right? Did everyone see the new video that said, oh my gosh, millennial gray is now green, right? Okay, so let's go through some neutrals here. What are your feelings about gray? When you think about gray, what words come to mind? Just shout them out. Makes you sad. Okay, what else? Overdone, overused, depressing. What did you say? Restoration hardware. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's green. That's it. Well, it moved from gray to black and to white. But okay, what else? What else do we say about gray? Anything good? It's a starting place. It's a neutral. Okay. It can be beautiful. Here's the thing: when any trend starts, right? Like right now, the English country kitchen. Oh, everybody wants that kitchen. Why? because it's being done beautifully by Jean Stouffer, and I can't remember who the other one is. But like, right, every trend gets done beautifully in the beginning, and we all fall madly in love with it. That viola marble, everybody wants that marble right now. But I'm sorry, it's going to be butchered really, really, really badly at the end of the trend cycle, and then we're all going to hate it, and then we're all going to inherit houses that are filled with it, and we're going to hate it. And it's the same with the black and white trend, right? I mean, in the beginning, right? When the black and white trend first started, I drove into my town, and there was this great little retail shop, and they'd painted it white with tasteful black lettering in the front, with cute little black lights. And I was like, wow, that is so fresh. But the thing is, everybody thought it was everyone else felt the same way. So I have never seen a trend actually pick up and take, like, nothing. It's so big, right? When you can buy black toilet paper, right? I'm sorry, but they weren't selling brown toilet paper. I mean, maybe they should. It matches. I mean, gray. No, seriously, right? Like, there's so much now that is black, right? That it's crazy how that trend has taken over. Okay, let's talk about white. What are your feelings about white? Love it? Which white? Which white? Yeah, that's good. That's good. What else? It's fresh and timeless and clean. Okay, yeah. It's a bit boring. What else? It goes with everything. What else? It's a great foundation for color. Okay, all right. What about black? It's dramatic, goes with everything. It's sexy, it's bold. What else? Hard to sell to clients. Oh. It's really overdone. It is. But I'm in the color business. I mean, if you guys see what I see every single day in my business, you'd really run far and fast from black. Like, truly, I really think that just like in the brown trend, didn't every restaurant have a leather Parsons chair in the brown trend, in the end of the brown trend? You don't want to be the manufacturer left with, like, what's it called? Containers and containers of black once this trend is over. Because I think this trend is going to die much faster than the gray trend, because people think gray is, it's kind of neutral. It kind of just sits there. It doesn't really scream as loudly as black does, right? Okay, what about color? What are your thoughts about color? Love it, happy, creative. What else? Whimsical, energy, joy. Yay. What else? It's bright. I mean, people react to color very powerfully, don't they, right? If you get the wrong color up on the walls, you're running to the paint store to get a new gallon of paint. But if you get the wrong beige or gray up, you kind of go, meh. I can live with it, right? Yeah. I mean, the only time white isn't good is if you painted the walls white Dove, and then you painted the trim Chantilly lace, and now literally I was on the bus. Who was I? I was on the bus. I met someone at the party just a couple nights ago, and she said, "Oh my gosh, I painted the walls white Dove and the trim Chantilly lace. It looked like cat urine. It was huge. It was I had to pay. I had to pay to the client to paint it all the same. Oh, there she is. Oh, you are here. Yay, Betsy. Woohoo. I just called you out. Sorry, honey. You're cool though, right? Yeah, I know. Okay. It was so good. No, but when you said white Dove, I was like, do you know that is, I've been doing this for, I've been in this business. I specify, we send out packages all day and all night. I also have a membership page where designers and homeowners hang out. And like white Dove is the biggest thing. It's the biggest white. That's what everybody thinks is the right answer for everything, right? So yeah, I know all about white Dove. Okay, today we are gonna learn what it means to make timeless choices in design and decorating. What happens when you decorate with too many neutrals? You're gonna learn my 3-step system for adding color to your neutral room, and a simple formula. Oh wait, no, I think it meant colorful room. Okay, we said it twice, but I'm gonna show you how to add color to your neutral room. But then for the color reverse, okay, tell me this as a poll, like, Who's actually decorating with, like, who's, you're decorating with color, like, you're like the color, and everyone else, the rest of you are like, you know, you're dealing with people that are like, no, I'm afraid, I don't want color, I want neutrals. Is that the rest of you? Yeah, right? Yeah. Okay, so what is timeless design? So timeless design means that you can't easily tell when it was installed. I mean, that is actually the fundamental definition of timeless design. So right now, if you were to walk into a white bathroom, but every single fixture and finish is black, like the poles, the faucets, the mirrors, the lighting, when was that bathroom done? Like in the last 5 years, right? Yeah. So then that's the thing that doesn't make that. See, every room needs a hit of black. That's been a thing for like ever, right? It's just that when every trend, people overdose on whatever that trendy neutral is, well, that's just when it just becomes harsh, flat, and predictable, right? So, yeah, most people think timeless means I'll always love it, but really nobody loves anything forever because timeless is not about personal taste. And that is actually, like, just think about that statement for a minute. That's why we're all here, by the way, because our clients, they got opinions. They got opinions about what they want. But it's your job to actually sell them the right color. It is your job to actually say, well, actually, that's not going to work, because if we do this, then it's going to look like that, and then this is going to happen, and then that's going to happen, right? Because our job is to, like, visualize, right? That's why we're in this business, because we're good at visualizing, right? But your client can't visualize, right? That's the other reason why everything has to be installed at the same time, as you know, because, you know, they can't, you know, otherwise you're selling each thing as it arrives in the house. They're like, no, just wait, it's not all done yet, right? Okay, so, right, if you walk into a room and can't immediately tell when it was decorated, you know, that's a timeless room, right? Because also every trend cycle has that furniture, right? Like at this market, did you see any gray distressed furniture? No, but that was a thing a few years ago, right? During the espresso brown trend. I mean, all case goods were espresso brown, right? So, okay, so that's an important distinction to know. Now, who thinks that neutrals are more timeless than color? Who thinks neutrals are more timeless than color? Or just a few of you. You guys, are you following? Who's following me here? I mean, you know, yeah. Who thinks color is more timeless than neutrals? Okay, I'm still kind of, I think it's just that everyone is not participating here. Okay, I'm just gonna walk you through it. Okay, here's what it is. All right. So in 2006, the Ritz Paris completed a $200 million renovation. They shut down the hotel for 4 years. Okay, and when they opened it up, let's just have a little tour of the Ritz in Paris, shall we? Oh, yes. Here is the, you know, indigo blue and yellow and cream entry. Oh, and here's one of the green suites. Oh, and here is a red and teal suite. And Vogue loved it so much, they did a whole entire spread in the silver and pink suite. Yes. And here is, here's the red one. And here's the orange and blue lobby. When does the Ritz Hotel need to renovate? We have no idea when the Ritz Hotel was actually renovated, do we? But you can walk into any hotel and you know exactly. And the saddest thing is when I see mood boards done by designers that do not know where the trend cycle is. They put that mood board together in a trend cycle, and then at the end of the trend cycle, finally the hotel gets the budget for the reno. Maybe that takes a few years, and that design was already done. Well, now that hotel, and I'll show you a hotel like that. Oh yeah, coming up next. This is the Empress Hotel in Victoria, Canada. Who's been to Victoria? A few of you? Yeah. So, you know, it's a 100-year-old hotel, okay? In 2017, the hotel was bought by a couple who spent $35 million on a renovation, and here's what they turned it from, okay? It was, let me just go up here. the new renovation took this 100-year-old hotel filled with traditional French furniture and color, and basically they took it all out. They put in modern. They put in gray and black and white with a pop of color, okay? A pop of purple, okay? And, then they threw in that linear fireplace that should never have been invented. I'm telling you, that linear fireplace should be nowhere, ever, ever. So yeah, they made it modern. Look, they painted all the woodwork in the hallways. They painted it all gray, put up gray wallpaper. Like, here's the thing. One of the things I've noticed walking through Market, okay, there's a lot of really good stylists that are doing the showrooms because they're doing neutral rooms really, really well, right? They've got the styling, they've got the, right? This is neutrals done very, very bad, where you don't even have the same undertones. What's going on? And then here's the lobby. Oh, wait, there's the lobby. Yeah, it's just a trendy hotel, right? And, then I was at the Westin St. Francis, and you can see we're walking from the brown trend in one of the wings, right? Because it's a really big hotel, right? Into the gray trend, because they're renovating it piece by piece, right? And this is how they do it. How many hotels have you seen? How many bathrooms that are filled with gray, bleak 12 by 24 tile? Like, just make it white. Like, if it has to be 12 by 24 bleak tile, at least make it white. At least. Okay. Okay, so when you choose, basically, when you choose your favorite color for your sofa, okay, nobody can really tell you when that sofa was installed. Now, there's nothing wrong with the cognac sofa. Back in 2008, I actually wrote a post about what was the most timeless leather sofa, and I said it was a cognac sofa, right? Well, now, here's the thing with it now. It's not that it's bad. It's the fact that if you didn't choose cognac for your living room or for your clients because it was a color they always loved, when you see, cognac beams on on a black house for the 50 millionth time, right? Everywhere you go, you see that color combination. You just get sick of it. You're just like, I'm done. Now you're looking at it in your house, and you're just bored now, right? And so that's the argument for actually choosing a sofa that is a color. But in all fairness, right, when you go shopping, we're not there yet. Where we are is, this is my last living room. I've had this yellow sofa now for 14 years, and nobody can tell me when it was installed. Okay, so that was my last living room. And then 2 years ago, we moved into a fabulous house, so fabulous. I really should have been in the South. That's where I should have been born, because my decorating style is more southern and colorful. Thibaut gave me that fabulous wallpaper, and yeah, that's the bathroom with penny tile. Yeah, because penny tile is timeless. You would expect to walk into a traditional house, and when you see small scale tile, that tile looks like it's been there forever, doesn't it? Right? So, but most people think that color is all or nothing. So if you get into design, and the easiest kind of way to make a living in design and decorating is just give people what they're looking for. And most people are looking for neutrals. So unless you have a portfolio that really speaks to color, because people don't come to me for neutrals, right? They don't come to me because they want a, gray on gray on gray or black and white room, right? And so, but at the same time, I'm also the queen of getting neutrals white, right? So it's kind of like a whole combination here. But anyway, so they think color has to look like that or like this. So people that are color averse think, well, no, like I couldn't live in a room like, no, like that's, no, I can't live in a room like that. So where I'm leading you today, okay, baby steps, okay? Because most people do decorate with neutrals, and most people don't even do that well, all right? So, and in all fairness, most showrooms do look like this, right? I was talking to a woman that owns a furniture store at the Bernhardt party, and she said, my designers order color from me, like colorful upholstery, but my showroom is filled with neutrals. Why? Because that's what people buy, right? So, if that's the reason why most people also, of course, are going to end up with a neutral sofa, because when you go shopping, that's all you get, That's all you get is the neutrals, right? So, you know, and we all know as designers that in order to get a room that has color in it, you got to have a mood board. You got to pick all the other things that are going to go with it. You can't just throw a blue sofa in a room and call it a day. You got to repeat that color a few times, right? Okay, so, you know, what happens when you decorate with too many neutrals, right? I mean, how many times can you, I'm sure that if you guys got $1 every time you heard a client say, I want a neutral sofa so I can mix up the toss cushions, right? Don't they say that? But yet they wouldn't know what a good throw pillow is if it hit them in the face. If it was right? Because they're not decorators. Because we all have our gifts, right? That's why you guys are all here, because you all have the gift of decorating. So, right? But we're bored already, because what happens is people go out and they buy the gray sofa, and then they're like, oh, well, I guess I need a rug. And then they're at Costco, and they see that placeholder shag, and they're like, well, let me grab that placeholder shag, because I don't really know what rug to put in my living room. And they stick it in there, because it's so true. And then they're like, well, I need curtains. Okay, so now I'm at IKEA, or I'm at Bed Bath & Beyond, or maybe I'm at Target or something, and you're like, well, let's see. I have a gray sofa. I have gray shag rug. Well, it seems to me that I probably need gray for my curtains. And then that's how you end up with this gray on gray on gray debilitating room, right? That's how it happens. So, you know, what is the Killam color system? So this is it. The Killam color system is language, tools, and education that gives you a simple process for making color decisions. And this is the neutral color wheel that I've invented. It's got whites on the back. So when you have this wheel, you don't end up in a situation where you're like, oh, wow, okay, yeah, I have green beige walls, and my sofa is, you know, yellow beige or green or blue-gray, or like it's wrong, or it's taupe, right? I had a woman just sent me an email. She goes, Maria, like I have beige curtains and I got like a gray headboard. You know, what color can I paint the walls to make that look better? I'm like, well, send me a picture. So she sends me a picture. What she actually has is a mid-tone taupe headboard with green beige drapes, or no, they were green-gray, but they were the same value, and they were hanging right beside her headboard. I said, do you have another room? Do you have a guest room? Like, no, they're wrong. They will never look right, and a new paint color on the walls that matches either the bed or the curtains is never going to be right. So maybe you could paint the walls blue and find a duvet that has like, no, but like it's wrong, right? And so, you know, most of the time, don't we blame it on the light? I mean, really. The color's wrong on the walls, and we think, and we say to the client, look at that. Yeah, the light did that, didn't it? No, that's not a thing, and you will learn that in my courses. Yeah. Like people say, oh, no, you can't put that color from your best friend's house into your house. It won't look the same because the lighting is different. That's not the reason why why doesn't it look the same? That's correct. But you follow me, right? She's a true color expert, ladies and gentlemen. That's why she knows. Well, yeah, right? So her finishes are wildly different from yours, and that's the reason why nothing to do with the light. If I had to count on the light, by the way, I wouldn't be able to do the kind of packages all over the country that I do. I'm not asking people, are you south? Are you north? Are you east? Are you west? So there they are, the 9 most useful undertones of neutrals. Basically, in the world of neutrals, yes, are there neutrals outside of this? Sure there are. They're not all on this wheel of 18 colors. However, most of the useful ones are found here. Most of the useful ones come back down to what's here. And if you are not comparing neutrals, if you're stuck on a go-to color, it's because you're not comparing. So this is my favorite quote by Janice Lindsay. She wrote a book all about color many years ago that was, I don't know, it was like 800 pages and it didn't have a single photo in it. And it was the best book about color I ever bought, because she, every time because I'm a color expert, every time I saw a book about color, I'd buy it. But then when I actually wanted to look something up quickly, I'd go to her book. So she said, the difference between an experienced colorist and a novice is not that we can see the subtleties of color without comparing, it's that we know we can't see them without comparing. So the reason why most of you guys, and I know what's going on, I know, because this is the business I'm in, the reason why you're just picking white dove over and over and over again, The reason why you have whatever your go-to white is for your clients right now is because you're not comparing. You don't know how to compare enough colors so that you can actually get which pale neutral they should have. Because most people should actually have like a pale grayish at the very least, or like a pale beige, but you need to know which one. So because you don't know, you end up giving your client white dove over and over and over again. Okay, so here are the 3 most useful ways to describe color, okay? Light or dark, clean or dirty, cool or warm. This is what I learned in San Francisco when I was there many years ago, and that was truly groundbreaking for me, right? Because saturated colors have an obvious hue, right? We're not asking what the undertone of those lamps are. It's very obvious what they are. Neutrals are the ones that get people wildly confused, right? That cost a lot of cost companies and designers a lot of money. Yeah. So basically, when it comes to choosing the right colors for your home, right? When your client says to you, what's the difference between this color and that color? Well, it's either lighter or darker, cooler or warmer, or it's cleaner or it's dirtier, okay? So here it is, a simple formula for adding color. So now this is simple. I'm not getting into partitive color and all the things, okay? This is a very simple way to add color, but if you look around and you're gonna be, if you're still here at the show, now I want you to look at every single room from this lens from now on, and you will immediately be able to see what's missing, that this room wasn't quite perfect, okay? So, all right, so here we are. This is what happens. Right? I want a neutral sofa so I can change the cushions, but does this look like a designer was here yet? No, you can't just throw in some pink pillows and say, oh, I've got this great decorated room. Oh yeah, this is what people think a pop of color is. No, a pop of color does not give you a decorated room if you don't do it right. So this is basically the 60-30-10 rule, right? So I looked this up the other day because I've never actually looked it up, because I've never used this when I decorate color. And so this is what I pulled up, and this is actually what I got as an example. So is that a well-decorated room? I mean, it's colorful, it's a little more interesting, but does it look like a designer was really, it just looks like we're selling some accessories maybe, right? But that's the 60-30-10 rule. So this is what's way easier, okay? And this is what I've intuitively been doing for years. And so is the color balancing method. So here it is. Okay, when decorating with an accent color, the rule of thumb is to introduce it in small, medium, and large elements, okay? So you start with the rug, then you add the sofa. And then, right, then you repeat that accent color in small, medium, and large elements. And then that's how you start getting a room that looks decorated, that looks like a designer was there, right? So, this isn't all, it's a gray room, and yes, it's just sort of one shade of orange, and I'm not saying everyone needs to suddenly add orange or like a big, bright, color to their gray world, but even a neutral room needs to be done this way or it falls really flat. And I'll show you some of those. So basically, we've got our small, medium, and large right there, how we've repeated it. And then there's another one. Actually, we're kind of missing the medium here. Kind of have small, we're missing the small, kind of. We've got it here on the Hermes tray, right? All right, so the neutral color balancing method is you start with a pattern, rug, pillow, or art that includes the neutral in your room, right? Your accent color. Choose decor to match the accent color in your pattern in small, medium, and large elements, and then layer in white or cream for balance. All right, so these are some small, this is some medium, and then here we have some large, right? So for example, I got this from a email from a follower, and she said, I'm finally ready to ditch the brown leather furniture that I bought when I was 24 years old. As you can see, I have a lot of color in this room. already. Dark teal, purple, gold, cream, white, brown, light blue, black. I just bought this rug through Wayfair, and it looked more white in the picture, but I love it, so I'm choosing to ignore that it doesn't match the white stone of the fireplace around. My friends, not designers, just know-it-alls, haha, are all telling me to buy 2 charcoal sofas, one for each side of the room. Since I read your blog religiously, I'm weary to purchase charcoal sofas. I would love instead to buy colorful sofas, either purple or blue, but I'm afraid it'll be too much. How do I know if I should just stick to a neutral or if I should go for color? Can you help me with this? What color sofa should she buy a charcoal sofa here? Why? There's no charcoal in the room. There's no charcoal in the rug. So that would be very bad. That's right. Right? So, you select an accent color that's already in the room. This is how you do it, right? And then you repeat the color in small, medium, and large. And then that's actually how you end up with a layered look, right? Now, yeah, okay, so now, what about neutrals? Well, I've got you. I walked around Universal. I took a few photos right before this, and I ended up, and look at that. Now, if we were to pick this apart a little bit, what's the only color that doesn't work in this room? Because we do have some good little color balancing and layering going on here, right? Pardon me? Well, I guess you could argue the gray has been repeated by the pillows. There's a bigger color that shouldn't be here. Like the black walls. Right? Because there's really no black in the room at all. But we've got the small, medium, and large kind of going with the cognac, right? Now, and what about this one? See how by just repeating the raffia, it's in the art, it's in the pillow, it's in the rug, little accessory, right? It just suddenly starts looking better, right? We probably need some colorful sofas on there. Colorful pillows on there or something, right? Whenever, I always tell my clients, those pillows that match the sofa? Yeah, just put them in a box by the side of the road with a free sign on it, okay? No. Pillows are extremely important. So when we get to the price, and they're like, $250 each, I'm like, just look right past that, all right? See how we're still in the budget here, yeah? But we need these pillows because they pull the room together, right? Okay, now what about this? See, this has been done nicely. This is nice. We got the small in the blue, right? In the blue rug, and then, well, you could argue that there's a light blue in the duvet. So there, we got small, medium, and large here, right? So this was looking kind of pulled together, right? And then same with here in the brown. And then the wall color all matches. Like, this room's been done nicely, small, medium, and large. And then I was just in Tebow, and I was surprised to see this black room, and they said that it was a company, I can't remember the name of it, but they said that a lot of people, would come into their showrooms and say, well, we don't really do color, like we can't do that kind of color, so we need something more neutral. So they've but they bought this company so they can offer their clients more neutral. But you can see that, like, we've got some contrast here. Contrast is a really big piece of my course because the question you need to ask yourself when you're introducing something new in your decorating is, do I need contrast here? Instead of just like the all black kitchen, right? The all gray kitchen. And people do that with their decorating as well. Everything is black in the room. So there's a lot of, I'm sure you've noticed this, but because black is over, it seemed like every showroom had just like that one black room left, right? And it was well done because the contrast was right. Okay, so let's review the color balancing method. How am I doing for time, by the way? What time is it? 2:40? Okay, good. All right, so you want to start with the pattern, rug, pillow, art that includes a neutral in your room, plus another color that you love, like your accent color, and then choose the decor to match it in small, medium, and large, and layer in white or cream for balance. All right. Oh, wait, I'm on the same place. Okay, so next level, of course, to that would be like neutrals plus 2 accent colors, right? And then, neutrals plus 2 accent colors plus maybe a disruptor color, right? But like this is now getting like next level, right? But for, for those of you that, have clients that are afraid of color, this is just a really simple way to just give them a little bit of color so the room is happy, and you're not going crazy. It's small, medium, and large, and doesn't that make way more sense than like this 10, 60, 30? I don't even know how to say it. Like, no, like it doesn't really help you. That does not help you. Okay, so then the other piece of getting color right, all right, is clean, dirty, all right? So that's another big distinction that you'll learn and once you understand this, you'll be able to now, see, here's the thing, here's what you all need to get faster at, is picking the right color. You need to get faster at explaining to your client why your good, intuitive taste is right. And that is why designers that have been doing this for 30 years come to my course, because they're like, they know what they're doing, you know what you're doing, but what you're missing is the words to explain to your client why your good taste is right. And some of you are way past that, where your clients just let you do whatever you want. And then, well, then I guess maybe you don't need my course, but okay, so here we go. So now clean or dirty, this is what you now need to think about when you're creating harmony, okay? So, what if you made a mistake? Like, let's say that you bought this end table, it arrived in the guest room, for your client, and, maybe even worse, like it came and it wasn't assembled, and, you paid somebody to assemble it, and now it's sitting there, and what's the problem with it? It looks like what compared to the rest of the room? It looks dirty, doesn't it? And those of you that are true color experts, what's the undertone of that end table? Well, it's pink beige. Pink beige. I mean, the lighting's a bit tricky in here because, but yeah, it's pink beige. So now, what do you do now? Now it's in there. And your client's like looking at you with like one eyeball, like, oh, this doesn't look right. Yeah, so here's what you do. You just repeat it. Sometimes when you find a color that is off, you just repeat it somewhere and it just looks like it was on purpose, right? I mean, most of you probably do this intuitively already. You probably do, right? Because otherwise you'd be returning things all the time. We don't want to do that. No. So now when your client says to you, I don't understand, what is wrong with this room? You're like, well, this is dirty. This is clean. That's the problem. Right? You put a piece of art in the room, but if that art is too clean, it makes everything look dirty around it. It doesn't work. I had this woman that, in e-design, and she had this super neutral room, and she's like, okay, like we were putting together like a get me started package for her, because that's a decorating package. And she sends in this, Caribbean piece of art, like it was like blue, Caribbean blue. And she's like, I have this, great piece. And she's got this like very Tuscan, modern Tuscan feeling like living room. And I'm like, no, tell her no, you can't just throw like Caribbean blue. Like, we're not in a beach house here. Like, no, it's way too clean. It's not gonna go with her stone. If we start introducing these clean, like, to match it, like it's not gonna work. So then, we let her know that, and she was like, oh, okay, well, fine. I mean, that's fine. So then we moved it to a guest room. I mean, that's what there is to do, right? So, okay, so how to work with a dirty color you don't love. So what if, you've got a client and they've got this pink beige fireplace and, and they won't paint it. They won't overgrout it. They won't do any of that. And the husband's like, that's a hard no. No, what do you do now? If you want to, introduce some color that you like, right? If you've got something earthy that cannot be ignored, well, then you need to get a mood board out. You need to stick that pink beige, fireplace on a mood board, right? And then actually, can we turn these lights off? Because I think it's very hard to, is that a thing? Could we turn these off? Oh, okay, well, all right, because it's kind of hard. Oh, that's much better. Oh, that's much better. Yeah, okay, all right, right? So the thing to do if you don't like something, right? Because people are always asking me, oh, Maria, like, what is the best color to tone down my, like, orange oak floors. I'm like, that is not a thing. Like, you can't like make your orange floors go away by picking the perfect magical color. Like, you know, that's not a thing. Like, it's called decorating, right? There are so many people that rip out so many kitchens or bathrooms because they don't understand neutrals. They don't actually understand that, well, actually, if I just changed that offending countertop, painted the cabinet, painted the walls, this bathroom would not need to be renovated. Everybody has too many bathrooms in their house now. Doesn't every new house there's a bathroom, everyone has a bathroom with their bedroom. It's way too many. And then what? You're gonna rip out like 6 bathrooms? No, you need to just be more creative, and that's sustainable, right? Like, you need to just hone in on your decorating, color balancing skills. So, you find your inspiration first, right? So you commit to a multicolored piece of art or fabric, right? This is basically this conversation I have in many different ways in my courses so that it lands at the end. How many people have done a color course where you just mixed color for days? Like, all you did was put color combinations together. That's all you did for days. Did this help you at all? Like, really, like, walk into a client's house and then be like, okay, like, I now know what I'm doing. Like, no, because your job is not to pick colors from the sky. Your job is to pick that sofa first, that area rug first, right? How many beautiful decorated rooms have we seen here at Market? Nobody's picking the paint color first for these rooms. No, you start with the pattern, and then you go from there. Like this one, right? We all know that nobody picked the color of those beds without everything else first, right? So we put that together with a mood board, as you all know. And then the next level of a mood board, right? You look at them all together. Who's doing this already, right? With the new ChatGPT update, you put the mood board in. Oh my gosh, and now that mood board is in a living room, like incredible. Who is doing this already? A few of you, yeah. I mean, this just, you know, and it's gonna get to the point with our content, much to our chagrin, where like it's no longer gonna work to like just slap like, you know, I did a video a few weeks ago where this woman had sent me this daybed. She goes, well, it's pink, and I didn't know it was pink, and you know, she had it in this blue room, this blue-gray room, and she's like, oh, like it didn't look pink in like the, well, sure, because whatever the photo she was looking at, everything probably matched it, so the pink didn't, you know, wasn't obvious to her. So she plugged it in the room, and so then I found a duvet, and I stuck it on the image, and then did a little video on it on my Instagram. And you know, but now where the world of content is going, I gotta put it through, you know, put it through AI first, so that duvet is actually sitting on the bed and not just plunked on it visually on the screen, right? So, I mean, that's where we're going. Okay, so now you know how to confidently compare colors, spotting and working with undertones, using patterns to guide your color palette, creating harmony with accent colors, and balancing your space with neutrals. Because it's not about just, you know, I'm not saying you have to, you know, use color balancing like just with color. It's also, you also need to do it well with neutrals, right? You also need to balance the white in the room if the room is gonna be primarily neutral. Balance any other neutral that you're gonna be working with, right? Okay. So where am I here? Here we go. All right, thank you. Here's a free gift. You can instantly narrow thousands of whites to the one that works for walls, trim, cabinets, tile, or fabric. Readers have saved thousands of dollars and hours of frustration just by following my step-by-step approach. All right. Yeah, you can go to my website and then hit it that way too, and use the coupon code WHITE to get it. All right, what else could you achieve with color confidence? So you just learned a simple, powerful way to balance color in any room, but what if you could actually confidently walk into a client consultation and be able to explain to them why you've chosen the right color? You know, most designers think they know color, but there's a world of nuance that separates good rooms from truly beautiful ones, and that's the reason why paint is your biggest, like, the thing that you lose sleep with the most. And I'm just telling you right now, beige is coming back, right? Pretty soon, your clients are gonna be like, I don't want white. My house is a box, a white box. It's already happening in our e-design department, right? Where people are like, no, like I need the right, beige, like, and so designers have been picking color, picking black, white, and gray for 15 years. So it is time to get yourself trained. And so my next course is in Chicago. It's May 14th and 15th, just in a couple weeks, 3 weeks. And Christy has cards that she's handing out for $250 off the price. And it's 2 days. It's totally transformational. You will never, ever see color the same way again. And you'll have the confidence to raise your rates, market yourself as a color expert, and avoid all the mistakes that even experienced designers make, right? Because when you make a color mistake and you've been, working with your client a long time, you kind of have to pay for it to fix it, right? It's not fun, but, so this is really the cost of a mistake, truly, right? And then this is what people say. And how many true color experts are in the room? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Awesome. Thanks for coming, you guys. Yeah. So, we have some people in the room, too, we can talk to. Yeah. All right. All right, who has questions? Yes. Oh, yes. I mean, most of the time, people are going to start with a sofa. Sure, right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. But you got to start with something. That's the thing. It's way easier to sell paint colors when you start with something. Like, for example, when we were putting together e-design packages, and we're giving a client, like, a color for their, like, island, for example. Let's say they want a blue or a green for their island. Well, the way to sell that color is we pick an area rug. We're like, here's the area rug. Here's the color, like, because everyone's going to need one in their great room anyway. We pick the color, the navy or the green or whatever they want, and we're like, here it is. So we've just sold the client the right color now. It's not just, it doesn't occur anymore like this random blue and this random green, like, oh, how did you get to that green? Like, oh, like, that's the thing. So yes, absolutely. Who else had a question? Yes. Oh, that's a really great question. Yeah. So, she want to know what I think about color drenching. So, because everybody has white walls right now, they think in order to add color, that's where the colorful kitchen came in. They're now painting all your trim and all your doors and everything is like some kind of taupe or gray or something, right? But here's the problem with color. Like, I think color drenching belongs in, well, a powder room. We've already been doing that for decades. A dining room. Like, a room that has, or a house that has really bad, choppy, skinny, nasty, trim, and you don't want it highlighted, fine, you can color drench that. If you're painting a whole house like a trim color, like white dove is a trim color. So can you paint, all the trim and all the walls white dove? Yes. And as Betsy would agree, you should absolutely do that. Right? So, but no, I mean, I moved into this house that cost me $25,000 to paint it because it was taupe from top to bottom 2 years ago. It was a 5,200 square foot house. Well, all the trim was already cloud white. Well, praise the Lord, because that would have been another $25,000 that it would have cost me to paint it. So I think that it's a very bad idea to just randomly start giving your client, like, I think it's and I think maybe it's maybe in more of a modern space as well, where there isn't a lot of trim, right? There's no crown moldings in a modern house. Like, so you got to be very specific. Like, I would not, there's some influencers right now on Instagram, and they are trashing painted trim. But they have a very specific look they're selling that goes with their, like, washed out, like, I called it into the painter and I didn't even get out of bed look, right? Like, I mean, no. Like, no. So I would be very careful I would not make that my opportunity to introduce color. Like, let's start decorating, kids. Like, the joy in everyone's house is in the decorating, right? The pillows, the lamps, the art on the walls, that's where all the joy is. So when people try to do that, it's like they want their paint color to do all the heavy lifting. No, Your paint color cannot do all the heavy lifting. You must decorate. So that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. Yes. Pardon me? Oh, what about metallics? I mean, you're asking about like special finishes and stuff, like, like faux finishes and stuff. Yeah, I don't really have a big opinion about that. I think it's you're in the world of decorative artist stuff now. Like, yeah. I mean, yeah, if it works and you're decorating. I don't have a big opinion about it though, because, I teach color to the everyman. Like, I'm not teaching you like, oh, like your ceiling should be red, and I'm not doing that. Right? I'm teaching you how to pick the right color for like your open layout house for your clients. Like, boom. I'm teaching you how to do it like this, so you can walk into any house and you know exactly what the color should be. And it ain't white dove. I'm just saying. Okay, I'm just need to say that again. Okay, yeah. Did you have a question? Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, in general, your ceilings can match your trim. I mean, my opinion about ceilings is that I wouldn't dilute it. I wouldn't go, oh, here's a color and I'm going to make it 50%, because it makes that color too thin, right? It's just like somebody said to me the other day, oh, Maria, like I'm going to paint my cabinets white dove. Like, this is not a joke. She said, I'm going to paint it white dove. And, she's got some kind of, I don't know what kind of, she had a kind of a more of an earthy countertop. Well, no, that it will be very, very bad with her earthy countertop. I said, the cream that you've chosen is too thin. Okay, you need a pale beige, which in my system I call a complex cream, because it is, it has more pigment in it, so it's got some like substance. So yeah, that's a good question.